All right, so I just vacuumed my floor, and I use this Arm& and Hammer stuff, this powder. You spray on your carpet, and then you let it sit, and then you vacuum. And I should probably open some windows because I'm getting kind of lightheaded. I think I used to. I just dumped the whole box. I used the whole box. So if I pass out, promise me you're gonna call help. Okay? Call some adults. Um, so we're gonna go with the old 1800 Ultimate Margarita Black Cherry, obviously, because I'm a gentleman. I wasn't kicking around in 1800, but a friend of mine tells me it was a good year. So let's get into this, shall we? Normally I don't drink during my reviews, but I'm gonna make an exception for the Many Saints of Newark. Um, a movie that isn't very good, and that we're here to talk about. Now, when I first heard they were doing this, I said, "Don't do this. You don't need to do this." But nobody listens to me. I'm just a beautiful boy on the internet. So they did it against my wishes and the wishes of my family, and we're here to talk about it. Spoiler-free review. I don't even know why I do that. Spoiler-free review. Does anybody really, when you're watching like a 20-minute long video, do you stop? Are you like, okay, he did the spoiler review. It ain't that great. It's not very good. Do you really pause it and you're like, oh, pause? I'll come back. I'll go watch it and then I'll come. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. If you say, see, I just breathed in real deep and I think I got like woozy. If you see clouds, I don't know how this is gonna look. Um, I just see a white haze. The stuff is fantastic though. The Arm& and Hammer powder, it smells divine. It will just knock you out for a little while. So my initial problem with the Many Saints of Newark was you're kind of doing a perilous balancing act, in my personal opinion, right? Because you only have one movie to do this, and you have 6 seasons. This is sign language for seasons of a TV show. So I thought it was a horrible idea to even do this when I heard it was going to be done however long ago. And because in 6 or 7, depending, because the 6th season they did that stupid thing where it was in 2 parts. You know what I'm talking about. In that long, you have a lot of backstory, you have a lot of characters and shit like that. So you have to balance moments of, hey, it's young so and so, with, hey, we also have to tell a story because this is a movie. And I think with such a beloved show, I'm gonna have to stop breathing in really deep because I will have to take a break. I should have opened windows, but that would put me in contact with the outside world, and we can't have that now, can we? But we can have some of this. So that was my main concern, right? I didn't want to watch a 2 hour, hey, remember so and so, which is kind of how I felt about the Deadwood movie, and I love Deadwood, and the Deadwood movie is way better than this, in my personal opinion. And I didn't even think the Deadwood movie was very good. It was all right. It was okay. The more I think about it, the less I like it. But anyway, now I want to review. Can I review Deadwood instead? The Deadwood movie? Can we talk about that? No? You're really pushing for this Many Saints in Newark. All right, fine. I guess. Suit yourself. Suit yourself, though, Charlie. But anyway, so that was my main concern, was that you have to balance out a new story, right? Along with the lore of the... You have to satisfy the people who came for the, hey, look, it's young Tony. there are people who are going to want that stuff. You don't want to go too light on that, but you don't want to go too heavy on it, because then it just becomes a fucking remember when. Like, I love that episode, by the way. It's one of my favorites of the show. And I love The Sopranos, by the way. I love it. So it pains me to do this. That's why I have this. Because pain. But to my surprise, they actually, I thought, balanced it out in a way where the parts where they did bring up characters, scenes, or whatnot from the show, I thought the balance was well done. The thing I worried about the most was the best part of the movie, which is a good and bad thing, because the movie wasn't that good. See? So here are some examples, I guess. Well, all right. Are we good? Spoiler-free review? It's not good. It's not good. I mean, it wasn't like horrendous or terribly bad. I wasn't expecting it to be very good, to be perfectly honest with you, because again, when you only have one movie, I think the best shot this had would have been to really, really minimize young characters from the show. I mean, I would have spent very little time on any other kind of subplots, like the whole Tony little side thing they did, which was a waste of time in my opinion. But then again, like, nobody would have liked my version. Mine would have pretty much just been a mob movie about Johnny Boy Soprano and Dickie Moltisanti and their like criminal exploits or whatever. And every now and then you can have, hey, look, I got a kid. Its name is Christopher, and then everybody, kills a bunch of people or whatever. So I would have been very, very light on the, hey, I remember that. I know what they're talking about. Hey, that person's gonna grow up to be weird. I would have been very light on that and just kind of done my own dealie there. And of course that would have pissed off a whole bunch of people. So that was my worry. Like, either way, you're probably gonna piss somebody off with this. So why do it? And to my surprise, it was strange to me, honestly, because they had some parts that were really, really well done. Like, for example, Janice. I thought they did Janice perfectly. She's in it like this much, a little teeny weeny bit, but enough where you watch it and you're like, yeah, she's gonna grow up to be a problem. So I thought that perfect. Like, that's what I think they should have done with everybody. And if you want to put young Tony in it a little bit more than that, fine. But I was really hoping they would just go for more of a, like, instead of celebrating The Sopranos, the most celebrated show ever, like, everybody loves it. We don't need this love letter to all these old characters. We just don't. I think they could have started something new. Like, just, okay, fine, you're using the same backdrop, you're using the same people, kind of, sort of, but focus more on the father, on Tony's dad and stuff like that, who was really not in this movie at all. Like, that shocked the fuck out of me. I don't know. I like to consider myself a pretty savvy Sopranos watcher and everything, and I was really kind of surprised and dismayed almost that Tony's father really had a little tiny bit part in this. I don't know. I mean, I know, like, Christopher's dad and stuff was a big deal for them all, but that really surprised me. That surprised me a lot. But anyway, so that's the spoiler-free review. Can we spoil stuff now? I'm going to just stop saying that because nobody cares. Are you offended if I fucking... The Gremlins show up. They're the ones who killed somebody. They were at a party, somebody spilled water on some mogwai, and the Gremlins came out and they whacked him. They whacked Dickie. The Gremlins got him again. The fucking Gremlins. To Dickie and the Gremlins. The fucking motherfucking Stripe. He was the bad one, right? I don't remember. I just remember Phoebe Cates in 2, right? my jam right there. Anyway, spoiler review. We're gonna spoil some stuff. So normally, I get on here and I really, really, really rail against long films that don't need to be long. I hate nowadays, well, nowadays, the past 10, 15 years, I don't know. Um, there's kind of been this requirement that a movie needs to be two and a half plus hours long. You know, any fucking Marvel movie is like obligated to be 2 hours 45 minutes for some dumb reason. Um, for the sake of epic, right? We need to make this big. We need to make this a big deal. And by and large, for the vast majority of movies that I watch, in my personal opinion, I don't think they need to be that long. Now, you're hardly ever going to hear me say this, so listen close. Um, if any movie needed another like half hour, it was The Many Saints of Newark. This movie, it wasn't good. I don't think it was terrible, but it was downright laughable in a couple of places, and not in a good way. Like really, really not in a good way. I don't even know where to start, but we'll start with the runtime. Should have been longer. I think this would have really benefited from an extra half hour. Even 45 minutes. I don't think you're going to get too many people complaining about length. If it's over, you know, if it's 2 hours and 45 minutes for Sopranos fans, that's, you know what I mean, right? For something like this, I just thought the 2 hour mark for the stories they told, I don't know, way too short. It just seemed to slip by. So that's kind of something I'll never ever say. Another really big thing for me that I still kind of can't believe they didn't get into. Dickie Moltisanti was a drug addict, right? Yes, I didn't make this part up, right? In The Sopranos, where Christopher's saying, "Oh, the legendary Dickie Moltisanti, my father, he was a drug addict. You know, whatever he could snort up his nose or shoot up, like he was just a junkie." Right? That wasn't my fan fiction. That actually happened in the show, right? So I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, he looks healthy to me. Side note, the actor they got to play Dickie Moltisanti, I thought was great. I loved him. Like, as far as like character and the look, see, I never watched a single trailer for this or anything. Me sitting down to watch the movie was my first exposure to it, besides like still pictures or whatever. So I don't know. I just thought, yeah, he's a cool looking actor. And he reminded me of a young Richie. I don't know the actor's name who played Richie Aprile in season 2, but doesn't he look like a young Richie Aprile, especially the mouth, like when he talks and just the way he makes words. I thought he looked remarkably, to the point where I thought they were related. They're not. I don't think so anyway. But man, I thought they looked so similar. Obviously, the actor who played Richie is older, but I just the way they seemed very like similar people to me. Similar machines. Anybody have those comics? Deathlock, the Terminator, and Punisher. They were in like a 3-issue miniseries called Similar Machines. I thought that was a cool name for a comic series. Anyway, was it Deathlock the Terminator? Deathlock the something? No. Deathlock. It was Deathlock. I'm mixing Deathstroke the Terminator and Deathlock, just plain Deathlock from Marvel. Death Lockk, because we're not 90s unless we're rocking Deathlock KK. Okay. OKK, you do you. Back to the film. Can we just review Deathlock comics from the 90s real quick? No? You really want to know about this one? All right, fine. Yeah, so that really stuck out to me. I don't know if that's huge. And it would have worked with the story, because all right, there's so many bewildering things they did with this film. So it starts out, and like maybe a good 40 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe not quite an hour, but they do this weird pause. Like it starts off, uh, and then there's like a 4 year gap when Johnny, so Tony's father gets locked up for like 4 years or something, and then so there's a gap, right? So in the beginning of the movie, there's like young kid Tony, and then there's 4 years, and then there's like older teen Tony, teen Tone. I call him teen Tone. We're Jersey guys, you know. So and why did they do that? The first 45 minutes of this film kind of doesn't matter. Kind of not. They could have easily started this film with Johnny Boy Soprano getting out of jail and the big party for him coming back, right? Like, and I know you'll say, like, well, Dave, old man Ray Liotta and that fucking. I'm going to need a drink. It's getting a little hot in here. Whoever that Italian broad was. Woo. All right. I remember I saw an old, not an old show, something about ancient Rome, where like the average height for like Roman women back in the old days in Italy was like 4 foot something. They're like little halflings back then. Just fucking turn me loose, man. Just let me ride. Anyway, yeah. So old man Ray Liotta, he goes and he brings home this crazy hot girl, and of course, Dickie ends up fucking his father's girl, because that's not fucking nasty. I mean, he's like laying in bed and he hears them fucking like in the next room over, and then a couple of weeks later, she's fucking her. Oh, ew, man, you're nasty, Dickie. You're nasty. You're so nasty, Dickie. So, it seemed like they just wasted almost half this film on bullshit. Did they really need Dickie to kill his father? Like, was that necessary? Why don't they just have the Italian girl or whatever just come in from the old country and Dickie just takes her as his mistress? Why did they need to do the father kill? Like, I don't care from a story perspective. I'm talking about time. Like, we don't have time for this, guys. We got shit to do, kind of. So anyway, I that just kind of blew my mind. And then he goes to prison and he talks to his uncle, his father's twin brother, who was in prison for killing a made guy. But you don't get locked up for killing a made guy. You get this for killing a made guy, right? Isn't that, I mean, I don't know. I've been out of the game for a while, but it's, right? No? They just let him go to jail? Okay, fine. All right. So they got Ray Liotta to play two characters. Is it just me, or was like, so it would be Christopher's grandfather, right? Yeah, Christopher's grandfather. Ray Liotta was so obnoxious. And I don't know if that was supposed to be, or if it's just because he's supposed to be Italian. Sorry, that was racist. But you know what I'm saying. Like, he was just out of control over. Was it me? He just annoyed the shit out of me. And I guess like he's supposed to be a bad guy, and you're supposed to be on Dickie's side when he kills his father and everything like that. But it's kind of like you're gonna kill your father and fuck his girl. Ill. There's so much ill going on in that. It's so you porn. Anyway, I just thought the whole first 40 something minutes didn't need to be there. They could have easily have had, and you'll say, well, Dave, they needed to introduce, why do I want to say Rocky and Bullwinkle? I don't know why. That just popped in. They needed to introduce Rocky and Bullwinkle into The Sopranos. It needed to be in there. Natasha flipped. She's working for the feds now. What are we going to do? So, you'll say, well, Dave, they needed to introduce Dickie's uncle as like the voice of reason. So it's played by Ray Liotta. I was beginning to think Ray Liotta just lost his mind and became a really obnoxious person. But then when he played like the other the brother of the obnoxious guy, I was like, oh no, Ray Liotta's cool because this guy ruled. What was his name? Mark or something. I forget what his name was. But yeah, the guy in prison that I think he would go to visit and kind of like act as his like I don't know, listening ear or whatever. And I thought, oh, he's cool. I think I do a really good Ray Liotta. I just discovered this. It's a hidden talent of mine. All right, hold on. You're watching me. I'm kind of, I get shy. I get shy, you know. But all right, I'll try it. All right. Excuse me. Miles, birth of the cool. I'm a jazz nut. That was at least all right. You got to give me that. I just don't understand. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that. I just drooled out the side of my mouth. Um, I just don't understand why they didn't just say, okay, Dickie has a guy in prison that he goes to and kind of sees like his therapist and kind of gets things off his chest too, and that's fine. That's good. I just again for the sake of time, we could skip a lot of this. We could free up a lot of time in this movie to work on other things that need a whole lot of help. That need a whole lot of help. So there's that. Really, the only reason I'm doing this video was to showcase my Ray Liotta impression. Now that that's done, I'm just floundering now. Now we're just going to talk about sports. But before that, so some of the people bit players or whatever, I thought they did a really good job with Paulie, and I thought they did a good job with Puss too. They weren't in it all that much. Paulie was probably my favorite because the actor playing him wasn't just doing a bad Saturday Night Live character version of him, right? Now, what really was bad to the point of being offensive was the guy who played Silvio. The guy who played Silvio was laughably bad and over the top, and the guy doing Silvio was a guy at your job doing a really good Silvio impression. Here's the bad part about that, though. It's just too much. First of all, were the ages off? Was it just me, or did Silvio... So this was how long? Because when on season 1, Tony's 40, right? He says he's 40 in season 1. So this had to have been, I'm bad with math, Silvio would have had to have been 74 years old in 1972. He sucked. It was ridiculous. Silvio was ridiculous in this movie. It was comical, like Jim Carrey, over the top, stupid. I really, it was so bad. But Paulie, the guy who did Paulie, was great because he wasn't just doing a bad Paulie Walnuts impression, right? It was subtle. You could tell it was him, but he wasn't. More sign language in Italian, no less. So there was that. Tony's mom, I thought she was great, but they threw in parts that didn't need to be there. The whole, like the part where they were at school, And the part with like the happy pills, it was, guys, we got shit to do. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, why we don't have time for this. We all know Tony's mom is fucked up. We get it. Yeah, we don't need the beehive shooting scene, which was wrong, by the way, because didn't Janice say he Dickie wasn't there when Janice told the story to Tony at Bobby's house? Well, I guess it was their house, Bobby and Janice's house. She said it was their parents, and it was Uncle June and his girlfriend, not Dickie Moltisanti. Wasn't even in the fucking car. Like, guys, do you not watch the show? You could say, well, Dave, yeah, she's telling the story wrong or whatever. She heard it wrong. Fine, it still didn't need to be there. And did it really add anything? Did it really help progress the story along, or was it just there because it's a story they told from the show, so we got to put it in there? You couldn't have made that scene worth something, guys. You're driving me to drink over here. So yeah, so that really sucked. What else do we got? Okay, the thing with the heroin and the drug problem. Here's how they could have worked it in, and it would have been perfect. All right, so in this movie, it's set during the race riots of Newark. Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry. The race peaceful protests of Newark that happened way back when, and so you have this guy Harold who works with Dickie for him, with him, whatever, and he wants to branch out on his own, and he cannot do so without rubbing up against the mob, right? The wrong way. So there's some tension there, but with these people who used to work together, they're not quite friends, which is kind of like, then who cares? I mean, wow, way to kill the drama. Two people who were basically kind of maybe sort of work associates going their own separate. Like, take my hand. Let's fix this. We can fix this relatively easy. All the parts are there to fix this, okay? So you have Harold and you have Dickie, but they're making a lot of money together. They don't have to be best friends coming over for Christmas ham or whatever the fuck. But, they're making a lot of money together and they work really, really well together. And so like Harold is kind of wanting to get that next bump up, but he's a black guy, and with the Italian, and it's a period piece and everything. So the race, it's not like now where all the race stuff is all cool and groovy, right? They had some problems back then. It's not all sorted out like it is now. Anyway, so Harold in the me version of this movie, trying to salvage what we have, Harold's like, oh man, I'm so close. I'm making really good money with Dickie, but man, like we could really, I can't get to that next level because of cultural differences or whatnot. So there's a split, right? And Harold starts doing his own thing, and Dickie's kind of like keeping an eye on him or whatever. There's some tension here or there. Harold has this old relationship with the guy from, what was it, American Gangster, the Denzel Washington movie. I never saw it. Was it Frank Lucas? I don't remember. Something Frank Lucas, Frankie Lucas, Frankie Jean Lukowski. Pretty sure it was Frank Lucas. And who's a big, okay, what is Frank Lucas famous for, right? Starts with an H, goes in here, huh? So you have Harold, and he's working with his old pal Frank Lucas, right? And he's kind of like starting to make his own way. But Dickie's kind of peering like, hey man, come on, like I thought we were a team. What are you doing? Like what's going on over here? So he's trying to peer in on Harold's business, and Harold's trying to hide it from Dickie and stuff like that as he's trying to break away. And it gets to a point where Harold needs the edge on Dickie. He can't kill him flat out. Oh no, that would be bad. Then he'd have the whole mob on him, right? He can't do that now while he's working his way up. So he goes to Frank Lucas and he's like, "Man, what are we gonna do about this guy?" And Frank Lucas, who's all about drugs, is like, "Hey, let's if you're worried about him, let's dull him out a little bit, get him hooked on some smack, and then he'll believe me, he'll forget all about you." And then Harold kind of introduces Dickie into to heroin, gets him on the drugs, and you do two things there. Well, actually, you do a bunch of things. You do more than two, but so you introduce the drug problem that they completely ignored in this film. I'm supposed to believe that Dickie was a heroin addict when he didn't even take cough syrup in this entire film. Okay, if you say so. People who obviously don't watch the show this is about. So you introduce the drug problem for Dickie. Also, you make Harold look pretty smart, don't you? You make him look capable. And you're like, "Oh, Harold, that's good, man. That's good. You can't kill him. Just have him fucked up on H all the time, and he won't even worry about you anymore. And he'll slip eventually, and somebody else will do it." So I don't know. I think that's really basic. Really easy, something they could have just effortless. You had all the pieces there, right? So anyway, as it stands in the film, I mean, what I just told you was the cool, smart version. They did the fucking dumb, idiot version, the DI version instead of the D version. So instead, they had some stupid love triangle between Dickie and the Italian girl. Dickie kills his father, fucks his father's old wife, and then she fucks Dickie's business friend guy, and then so this is so stupid. She wants to open a beauty salon, and there's one part where I wanted to hurt cats. I wanted to get a giant barn and fill it with the most little adorable cats you could possibly imagine. And I just wanted to put on boxing gloves and just go a little crazy for a little bit because of the stress. And it would be kind of fun. You could do like dragon punches and send them. Anyway, I might have to invest in a barn and a whole lot of cats. So anyway, what were we talking about? I completely lost what I was going for here. Harold. Nice name. You know any Harolds? I never knew. Wasn't that there was a cartoon, right? Hey Harold, bye Harold, good day, Sir Harold. I don't know. I think it was a Nick Jr. Nick Jr. thing. Nick Jr. So anyway, this stupid love triangle. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The part that wanted to make me hit cats. I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. So this gorgeous Italian woman is talking, and she says, "I don't know. Maybe I came to America just for the money." Really? You think so, sweetheart? You think that's you mean to tell me, this guy right here, you mean to tell me that you didn't honestly fall in love with the 75-year-old man from America and then come? No, that you mean to tell me that wasn't true love? When he would hurl you down the stairs? No, that wasn't love. Unbelievable. God, the revelations. So that part was just like, ugh. That was Dr. Mindbender levels of dumb. Dr. Mindbender's not dumb. He's awesome. He fucking rules. But I'm just saying, it was mind-bendingly dumb. Dr. Mindbendingly dumb. If Dr. Mindbender could take like somebody from Python Patrol, perhaps, and make them dumb, it would be that in movie form. I'm sorry. And I'm in between editing programs right now, so this is going to be very, very shoddily put together. So, apologies on that. Where were we? Okay. So for some reason, okay, so she wants to open up a beauty parlor. And the guy Harold who's fucking her is like, "Hey, I'll get you a beauty parlor." And she's like, "All right." And then Dickie's like, "Hey man, I'll get you a beauty parlor too." And she's like, "Oh, can't have two beauty parlors. Can't run, two, that's going to be hard to maintain for a while. There's only so much hot irons that can go around." So I don't know. Hot irons? Is that a hair thing? I was thinking of curlers, but I said hot irons. Hot irons are no, they are a thing, right? Hot irons are the things that like your mom or Dave's mom, anyway, right? I don't have hair, so I don't fucking know. So it's the most okay. This is so laughably bad. They're on the beach, young lovers, young murderers, in love, and he's in a he's in a full fucking suit. He's in a three-piece suit. She's in like a gorgeous dress and a fur coat. I think a fur coat, if I'm remembering correctly. And she's got these big clunky like hooker heels on the beach. They're walking on the motherfucking beach. And I'm supposed to take that seriously. First of all, like I'm supposed to take that seriously. And he's all happy and he's like, "I love you. Oh my god. Oh, my dad jizzed in you. That's really hot to me." And then she's like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm so sad. I don't know what I'm doing." And then he's like, "Ah, why are you sad? Oh my god, you get me sad. Why are you sad? I got you that beauty parlor you wanted." And then she's like, "Ah, I'm so sad. I don't know. I don't." It's like, "Dave, speak Italian." "Ah, I don't know about it." Is that a? Can that be a new racial thing? A new racist thing? Like Italians always cover their face. I don't know. Dave, dude, Dave, speak Italian. Oh, God. I'm sorry, my eyes are burning because the the fucking the Arm and Hammer vacuum powder. It's like in Bloodsport when Chong Li threw the and so I'm vacuuming and I'm like, "Can we just talk about fucking Bloodsport, please?" Look, I already went on for way too long on this. It's not good. It's not good. Can we talk about Bloodsport, please? Just give me 5 minutes at the end to talk about. No, you want to keep. All right, fine. So anyway, so so she's covering her face and they're, they're communicating in Italian, obviously. A lot of this. That's fun. So and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I fucked Harold." Oops. Oops. Ah. Hoba. I fucked Harold. She's like, "Oops, I got too many beauty parlors." I hate when that happens. I hate when I get one beauty parlor and then I get another one by accident and I don't know what to do. So obviously Dickie's a little upset and somebody's got to go bye-bye. So he again, go with me on this. Dickie Maltus, the guy, he's in a full fucking three-piece suit. She's in fur coat, big clunky heels, and he drowns her in the ocean. And he kills her immediately. There are Mortal Kombat fatalities that last longer than it took for this person to drown an adult. I don't care how tiny and pretty your lungs are. It takes longer than that to drown someone. Allegedly. And then, cherry on top. He like holds her head. He holds her head below water, counts backwards from like 4, and she's a goner. She's dead. So then he sits there and he's like, "What did I do? Oh no!" And she starts floating. I broke out. I howled with laughter, like she's just like driftwood, like on the on the waves. And I don't know why. I don't know why they chose this. Like why they focused in on it, and then you see like the waves, and then she's like face down, and she's just bobbing up and down. It was so stupid. It was so fucking stupid, and I cracked up. By the way, I watched the movie twice, and both times I was on my ass laughing. It was the funniest thing. It was so much funnier than this review. So, as like a crime movie, The Many Saints of Newark sucks. As like a comedy, you will crack up. You will crack up a couple times. You'll be down for the count. But so anyway, so there was that part that just was so stupid. It was so funny. And he goes back and he talks to Ray Liotta, part 2. I don't know. And you know what? It seems so out of place. It almost reminds me. It almost makes me think that Ray Liotta, I'm going on gut instinct here. But the whole Ray Liotta playing 2 characters, it makes me think that he probably just said like, he just said he wasn't going to do the movie unless he got to play 2 people, like the Clumps or something. I just don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, so anyway, I just thought, oh my god, The Sopranos v. The Clumps. Dawn of Putrescence. Didn't think I was going to say that, did you? I was thinking of Font of Putrescence from Legacy of Kain. That was a great game. Can we talk about Legacy? Just let me talk about Legacy of Kain for like 3 minutes, then like 5 minutes of Bloodsport, and no? You really want me to? Okay, fine. I guess we're on the home stretch here anyway. So there was a part. Okay, all right. Remember earlier when I talked about Janice and how they did Janice properly in this? How she like hardly had any lines, but the way she was presented in the movie, you knew like she was gonna grow up to be let's just say a handful. And that's good, you know? Here's how you do that wrong. There was a part where they're all sitting around and they're talking about young Tony, Teen Tone, playing football. And like I'm sitting there, I'm watching this unfold. And I sit there and I think, I thought, if they do what I think they're going to do, we're doomed. And as if on cue, close up on Uncle June, You never had the makings of a varsity athlete. Guys, guys, I can't write your fucking movie for you. Like, I can't. Here's how you do that right, okay? You have the scene progress, and they're talking about football, and then you don't stop everything and put the camera on Uncle Junior so he can say his famous phrase, right? Hey, everybody remember when Uncle Junior said blah blah blah. You don't do that. Instead, right? You have like a wide shot, and you have Junior in the shot, but he's not the center of it. And they're talking football or whatever, and they're talking about Anthony on the football team, and then for just a second, Junior just looks over to Tony and just goes, and then keeps eating his food. And see, here's the beauty of that. We know what he's thinking, but he doesn't have to say it, because we're not 4. Okay, movie? Contrary to my pee-pee size, we ain't 4 here, no moles. So that sucked, and that was really dumb. Here's another really mind-bendingly stupid part. They're sitting around, and baby Christopher's born. And baby Christopher, he cries every time Uncle Tony tries to pick him up. And then some old Italian witch, like a fate witch from 7th Sea, says, I had the baby in the comet with the sometimes the babies, they know the other side of the thing. So, like, so baby Christopher somehow knew that Tony would kill him 1,000 years later. And by the way, can we just get this on the table here? Tony didn't kill Christopher, for fuck's sake. You think he was gonna survive that? I don't think he was gonna survive that crash. I'm on Team Tony on that one. All right, sorry. But anyway, so yeah. Speaking of Christopher, the whole voiceover thing. As soon as the movie started and they did that, I thought, no, don't do that. Please don't do that. You don't need to do that. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to my face and my heart? Neither of which need that thing you just did. Laughably dumb, completely, utterly stupid. Yeah, baby Christopher somehow knew that Tony was gonna, or whatever. Just stupid. I want to talk about the actress who did Livia, by the way, because I'm 41 years old, and at this point in my life, I realize that I am her. I am Tony's mother on The Sopranos. And I did it in a fraction of the time it took her to get there, which is, frankly, pretty fucking impressive if I say so myself. But the actress in Many Saints of Newark who played Livia cracked me up. This one part in particular where I hate the scene where she's in the school, that little side quest where it's like, quest log, make young Tony a hamburger. Okay. Press D to flip the, put tomato on there. Whoa, put the cheese on there. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so that whole thing I hated, but it was so funny, and it was so her when she's like, Mrs. Soprano, can I speak to you? And she's like, yes, but for a second, I'm parked in front of a hydrant. And then they're in the office, and then the teacher's like, have you ever read the book blah 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 blah? I don't read, I don't know. And then as soon as she said it, it was like, Mrs. Soprano, have you ever read Mad Magazine? And she's like, no. No. Like as soon as she starts talking, it was so funny. Have you ever read blah blah? No. I gotta really, I love that part. That part cracks me up every time I think about it. Those are the kind of laughs you want. Hairdresser lady floating after being really, really easily drowned. Not the type of laughs you want in a film like this. Let me think. Really, the only other thing I got is the big reveal. How long is this? Jesus. You're in for a rough view here. I'm sorry about this whole YouTube thing. So the big reveal in The Many Saints of Newark is that Uncle Junior was so tired of being ridiculed and made fun of and ranked out by Dickie Moltisanti that he's the fiend who had him killed. Did any of that throat gibberish come through? It might have. I'm pretty close to the microphone. It might have come through. Sorry. There's the ice is like it's dripping. I'm not spilling it on myself. It's dripping on my balls. That's true, but it's not. I'm not. I can drink out of cups. Most times. So throughout I paid particular attention on my second watch here because the first time I saw it, I thought, wow, that's really dumb. That's really stupid that that Uncle June is the one who had Dickie killed. Because why? Because Uncle Junior slipped and fell on the stairs and Dickie laughed at him? Really? So when I watched it again, I paid particular attention and tried to really like look for more kind of instances where Dickie made him look like a shithead. And yeah, okay, I guess they were kind of sprinkled throughout, but really no more like playful kind of fucking around than you'd see on any episode of The Sopranos where the guys are just sitting around fucking off on each other. Like, I mean, again, I'm not against that particular plot twist, if you want to call it. And I do think it's neat that there's a new revelation that was never brought up on the show. That's kind of cool. I'm not against it. Like, I'm not against Junior being the one that had Dickie killed. That actually works. That actually makes sense because the whole first season, pretty much, like Junior didn't give a fuck about Christopher and was like actively kind of wanting to kill him for some of it. So yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. Just the way it was done. Like they couldn't have, again, if you would have gotten rid of the first 40 fucking minutes of the movie and kind of got your story together, the backbone of this together, they could have had, like maybe Junior or okay, using the Cool Dave version of the movie that I was talking about earlier, Harold and Dickie are making all this money and maybe Junior gets left out of something. And Junior doesn't like that Dickie's making all this money outside of the family with this guy who's not one of them. So yeah, that's something. Maybe something comes up where Junior gets looked over or Harold gets something in lieu of Junior or something like that. I don't know. They could have done it a bunch of ways instead of just, oh, I fell down and he laughed at me. Now I'm gonna kill him. I mean, look, yeah, okay. If you're gonna say, well, Junior's a vengeful prick, okay, fine, but he's also not an idiot, and he just came off like a fucking idiot in this movie. Just, I like the idea, and I like this movie actually having something new to contribute, and give you something to kind of think about, you know. But just the way it was done and the way it was presented, which again, they could have handled a lot better if they would have used some precious, precious fucking time out of this 2 hours to actually, oh, I don't know, do it right or do it. How about this? If we can't do it right, can we at least do it competently? Or, just throw in a bunch of shit. Hey, why not? Waste some fucking time, right? 2 hours, we got all the time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world. The movie's not good. The Many Saints of Newark is not good. But strangely enough, not for the reasons why I thought it was going to be not good. Whatever that means to you. I don't know. So I'm going to have to fucking sit through this and edit it now. Recommend a video editor to me. A program. Because I've been using the same one for like 11 years. I'm going to try something different. I got nothing. But Bloodsport will never let you down. Ever. If the Many Saints of Newark taught me anything, it's that Bloodsport is the finest psychological thriller of them all. And I say that with confidence.